Welcome back. I'm Jessel Noor of the Solutions Journalism Network, and your host for this course, which is designed to help you reinvent your political coverage, to move away from the horse race and toward a more community-centered and solutions-focused approach. In the last video, we examined the problems with the traditional horse race approach to covering politics and elections, and why many newsrooms want to do something different. Today, we'll learn about the alternative called pro-democracy reporting. There is no one definition of what it means for a newsroom to be pro-democracy. Every news organization needs to define that for itself. But in the most basic terms, newsrooms that take a pro-democracy stance turn the focus of their political reporting away from what journalists think people want to know, things like what politicians are saying or who is ahead in the latest polls. Instead, they ask the public to guide their election reporting. They are also transparent about their belief that democracy is important and needs to be strengthened and preserved. Here's how Jelani Cobb, Dean of Columbia Journalism School, sees it.
But there is one profession that is specifically mandated by the Constitution, and that's us. Because there's the recognition that we serve a vital function in making all of the other parts of the democracy as prescribed by that document actually function. And when we move too far away from taking that charge seriously, circumstances and events have a way of reminding us, of bringing us back to that understanding. So we're in a reminder moment. We're in a moment where future generations of journalists will operate on the ethics that we have developed in response to this moment. That we're in the Watergate, in the McCarthy, in the Pentagon Papers era of our time.
Again, that was Jelani Cobb, Dean of Columbia Journalism School. We often get asked whether being pro-democracy means you're supporting the views of a particular political party or candidate. The answer is no, because pro-democracy reporting means holding all candidates accountable to the public and examining what candidates and campaigns mean for democracy itself. Journalists also sometimes worry that moving away from the horse race will come at the expense of traffic or audience engagement. But dozens of newsrooms we've worked with in recent years have found that's not the case. This is Duncan Agnew, a reporter with Evanston Roundtable, a local digital news outlet in Evanston, Illinois, that implemented a pro-democracy strategy in 2023.
We always talk about how this type of work, solutions reporting, these in-depth stories that are focused on the audience, how that, for some reason in our heads is like the enemy of like good clicks and like good views and revenue-driven coverage. And what I feel like we found is that doing this work, solutions journalism, trusting news, engagement reporting, citizens agenda, they all are great for engagement and for views and getting more people interested in your coverage, actually.
All the skills you learn over the next few weeks will help you build trust, reduce polarization, explore solutions, and inspire greater engagement with campaign news. It's best to view this alternative approach as a process. You don't have to employ all these skills simultaneously. We hope you'll give them a try in small ways that you can build upon over time. Together, they represent a powerful way to help you better serve your communities. Here's what we have coming up. In Module 1, Lynn Walsh from Trusting News will help you define what it means for your newsroom to be pro-democracy. She'll walk you through how to create a mission statement for your elections coverage and other strategies to convey your priorities and values regarding journalism's role in democracy. In Module 2, we'll learn from Jen Brandell of Hearken how to start listening to your communities in ways that will help you better understand their priorities and create a new basis for your election coverage. Once you understand what your audience wants politicians to address, you can use that information to start holding them accountable for doing so. Even if you have never interacted with your audience as deeply before, Jen will help you get started. In our third week together, I'll introduce you to the practice of solutions journalism and why it's key to your election reporting. In brief, solutions journalism focuses on how people are responding to social problems in promising ways. At the Solutions Journalism Network, we contend that it's not enough to identify the threats to democracy. Your audience also needs to know what's working to curb them. As you engage with audiences and they identify the most important topics, solutions journalism can also help you report on how politicians propose solving those problems and identify promising efforts that your community may want to consider. Finally, in Module 4, you'll learn how to avoid adding to political polarization and how to build more trust in your reporting. You'll again hear from Lynn Walsh of Trusting News and Julia Hotz, one of my colleagues at Solutions Journalism Network. Along the way, you'll hear from journalists who have embraced these skills and put them into practice, showing the power that they can have for journalists and news organizations across the globe.